So once you are happy with the amount of wiggle that your creme brulee has, Hello everyone, thank you for coming or for coming back. Today I am going to show you how to make creme brulee. Now, creme brulee is basically pudding, but for whatever reason someone decided that it was fancy, so if you tell someone you made homemade creme brulee, then they'll be at least a little bit impressed. I'm also going to show you a few different ways that you can flavor your creme brulee so that you can make different variations, and I'm going to show you how to brulee your creme brulee even if you don't have a blowtorch. Yes, that is another thing, I got to play with fire in this video. So if we are all ready to go, then all the ingredients and measurements are down below if you want to make these. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how to make the standard vanilla creme brulee, and then we'll move on to how to flavor it in a few different ways. So we're going to start by putting our cream into a pot on to simmer. Normally here is where you would add some vanilla bean or vanilla bean paste, but I was out so I had to substitute vanilla, but that's okay, it'll be fine. So go ahead and put your cream on, and then in a bowl you're going to whisk together egg yolks, sugar, salt, and vanilla. Now at this point your cream should have come to a simmer, and all you need to do is whisk the egg mixture while slowly adding your hot cream. Now we are just going to divide the mix into some ramekins. Mine was able to make 4, and these are pretty standard sized ramekins, so you should get somewhere around 4. And you will notice that these are in a larger pan, and that's because we are going to bake them in a water bath. Now what the water bath does is it keeps the temperature consistent around our creme brulee so that we don't end up with little scrambled eggy bits inside them. So you're just going to go ahead and fill the bigger pan with water to about halfway up the ramekins, and then this whole thing is going to go into the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for around 40 minutes. And I will show you what to look for when you take them out after we do a few different flavors. So for these you will notice that I am just doing a half batch, but the method is exactly the same. So first I'm going to show you a chocolate creme brulee. So it starts the exact same way. You're going to heat up your cream in a pot, and you're going to whisk together your eggs, salt, vanilla, sugar, plus you're going to add a spoonful of cocoa powder. From here it is exactly the same. Add the cream to the eggs, divide it, put it in the ramekins, water bath, bake. Now one quick tip I'm going to show you here is something that is completely unnecessary unless maybe you are making these for the most critical person in the world, or I suppose if you wanted to eat these without torching them on the top, and that is how to get a super smooth creme brulee top. Now you'll notice that there's all these little bubbles on top of your liquid, and if you get rid of these bubbles, then you'll end up with a nice smooth surface. So I'm sure you could do this with a toothpick or pull them all off with a spoon, but I'm just going to go ahead and use my blowtorch. So this will just pop the bubbles, leaving a nice smooth top, and you'll see the difference when we take them out, and I'll do a little comparison for you later. So the other variation that I'm going to show you here is using some tea. So the same as the other ones, we are going to start by heating our milk, but once it comes to a heat, we are going to turn it off and add a tea bag. Now here you could add something warm like a Earl Grey or a chai tea. I really think it'd be hard to go wrong with almost any black tea, but you could definitely switch it up, try using something like green tea to get a green tea creme brulee. So you're just going to pop in the tea bag and then let that steep for about 10 minutes. Also, cream is a lot thicker than water, so you'll probably have to give it a little bit of help to get the tea infused in there. Give it a little stir, a little mix, and just whatever you need to get it to a flavor that you like. Go ahead and taste it just to check and see how strong it is. So once your cream is all tea flavored, go ahead and put it back on the heat to bring to a simmer, and now you can mix together your eggs, sugar, salt, vanilla, add your cream, divide it out, water bath, bake. And that's it. Those are all going to bake for 40 minutes, and then we are going to check them to see if they're ready to come out. Now, the way to tell that your creme brulee is done is to check how much it wiggles. Now, if there was a scale where a liquid was like full on splashing all over the place and a solid object doesn't move at all, you want your creme brulee to be somewhere in the middle where it'll just sort of have a little wobble or a little jiggle to it. So all you have to do to check is just sort of give it a tap or a shake, and you'll just sort of watch how the surface reacts. This is very similar to any other sort of egg-based dish that you might make, like a cheesecake or a quiche. So once you are happy with the amount of wiggle that your creme brulee has, go ahead and put these in the fridge to chill for 6 hours, but preferably overnight. So once our creme brulees are all chilled, we can go ahead and brulee them. And here I'm just going to show you real quick, if you remember how we torched the bubbles off the tops of some of these before baking them. Here you can see the difference. The ones that had no bubbles going into the oven are very nice and smooth, and the ones that had bubbles are a little bit less uniform. They're sort of wrinkly or ripply, but this is all going to get covered up by the bruleed sugar, so you don't really have to worry about this, again, unless your guest is really judgy, or maybe if you're just going to eat this straight out of the thing like a pudding without the brulee on top. So to brulee these with a torch, all you have to do is cover them with a thin layer of sugar and then go ahead and torch them. One of these little kitchen torches is really easy to find at a kitchen store for cheap, but I personally prefer the big hardware store blow torches because they're a lot more powerful and it just goes so much faster. But either way, you're just gonna go ahead and keep it at a pretty low flame and just heat the top, making sure to keep moving around until you've got a nice caramelized top. And that is it. And to make the creme brulee without a blowtorch, we are going to dry caramelize some sugar. Now, I've shown how to do this a couple times before, so all you're going to do is put a few spoonfuls of sugar into a pot on a medium heat, cook it until it comes to a nice brown caramel color, and then immediately you're going to put it on top of your creme brulee and give it a little swirl around or spread it out carefully with a spoon or a spatula to get a nice coverage on top. Now, this way is a little bit more tricky if you're trying to do a lot of creme brulees at once, because your caramel will keep cooking and it's easy to burn it. As well, you could put it in a water bath to cool it down, but then it'll cool pretty quickly and be a lot harder to pour out. So either way that you brulee the tops of your creme brulees, you should end up with a nice shattery top and a nice creamy custardy inside to your creme brulee. These are so nice, so smooth, so rich, and I may have eaten one for breakfast this morning. So I hope you make these, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time.